Hey everybody, I'm Monty Mont.
And I'm Tiff.
And these
are a few
of our favorite
things.
Yo, you ready for Mom, Tiff? Let's go!
Never kept up with the latest. Never tried to be the greatest. But let's be honest, yes, we want this. Oh.
Nice.
I was paying attention.
Nice. Very good, very good, very good. Okay, guys. I wish you could have just heard the off-camera conversation. But we're all trying to convince one person of her shortcomings on Otis. But anyway, we're gonna just pick back up. We didn't finish our recap. We got so bogged down. We're gonna finish the recap.
Okay.
So David got let go. And so then the group, they need, another guy, because everybody knows the Temptations is 5. They need another sound. They bring in Dennis Edwards, who, let me tell you, I really love Dennis's voice. It's different from David. I love his voice.
They both have very distinct
They have distinct voices.
Yes.
And where was Dennis from?
Okay, so now Dennis was a contour.
Contour.
Yes.
Yes. He was with the Contours. There's actually a great YouTube clip that I saw of just a bunch of groups up there singing in a Motown review, and it's way back in the day. It is awesome. Maybe I'll post it, but anyway. So then they keep moving on.
Yeah, you should put that on our favorite scenes.
I'm gonna put that on there.
Yeah.
And so now they got Dennis, and there's the seminal moment, which is I think her favorite moment, where they're singing and. See, let me explain something very quickly. It's hard to get on. I'm saying like that. It's hard. So, you ever remember like that show Making the Band?
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
You know, I would see this every time where...
That's where Day 26
and, the band, and Danny DeCane.
Yes.
And they all eventually leave Diddy like, oh, Diddy doing this wrong. We ain't getting paid no money. And maybe he's not paying y'all right. Maybe he's doing y'all a little bit wrong. But whenever they go out on their own, it's kind of hard.
Yes.
And then you know what I see 10 years later? I'm not putting no shade, but it's like, hey, Big Mike Clemens is singing in some place. Yes. Big Mike Clemens of Day 26 from MTV's Make. You know why?
Yeah.
Because it's hard to do it by yourself. If you could put yourself on, you'd be on.
Exactly.
So they're singing, and David wanders in, old big time David, who don't need nobody. And he wanders in, and the group's just singing because now they got a brand, and it's hard to not, which is why I'm going to get back to...
Now, keep in mind, though, that at this point, he's lost without them.
He is.
At this point, I think they've now been singing as a group for at least 10 years.
They had a good little run.
Yeah. So they had a long run. So now being kicked out of this group, and I will say he did deserve it, not the way he got kicked out, but he did deserve it because he was really messing up. However, they had a long run. Mm-hmm. So this was devastating to him.
Yes.
Right? He didn't know what to do.
And so he kind of wanders in.
Yeah.
And now, like I said, the way they let him go was not great. The way he inserted himself back in is not great. Let me tell you what.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
See, you see that? You see the sass? You see the snippiness? There's things that they take as licensed in movies where, it'll be based on a true story, but not everything happens. But I promise you, I know this happened.
I believe this happened.
It's a great scene where they're about to sing. Dennis Edwards is about to sing lead, and the mic just gets snatched all of a sudden, and David jumps up on stage and starts singing, and the Temptations just got to keep going. Again, being professional.
Yes.
This is about. They just get through it, and of course, at the end, David is...
Because now Dennis has now taken David's place.
He's taking his place, right.
So now the song is, I know you
Ain't too proud of
I refuse to, that one, right?
Yes.
So that's David's song that he leads, right? So right when, and I almost got up and just took over your mic right now just to show him, but I'm going to just stay right here.
Yeah, you're fine.
but literally, Dennis is getting ready to open up his mouth. and get and sing that part. I know, and here comes David.
Yes.
Like, and you see him from the camera view. They show him walking up slowly.
Yes.
Right, and
Creeping
he grabs that
on
mic.
stage.
It's probably the best scene in the movie.
Now, see, some of us are appalled by that scene, and some people think it's the best scene. And then afterward, David's just like, man, that was great, y'all.
Yeah.
And Otis want to kill him. Like, what you mean? And they're like, no, bro, this is not gonna fly. You can't. Of course, they drag him out.
It was great drama, but if I'm honest, it was very unprofessional. He definitely should not have done that.
And so then, the movie kind of delves in, because then it really just kind of goes into the problems.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Paul develops a drinking issue. He to the point he's hospitalized, and hard decisions got to be made. Where Blue, your face expressions are so good in this. Blue, that's his boy. Or I'm sorry, Corn. Yeah. That's his boy. He don't want to do shows without Paul. Otis is like, we have to do shows with. I mean, there's still a point where Paul's kind of stumbling, and that's a real thing. You can look up some YouTube clips of, unfortunately, Paul struggling in some of their performances.
And if you remember, Monty just told us in the beginning, Paul is the one that would not even take a drink.
And Paul, that's what is hurtful. It hurts.
First, right.
To see that,
so now he has become an alcoholic.
Even they show some personal times where they're all just together, and he's really just struggling with alcoholism. And and put it like this: there's the question is like, should we go on or should we wait for Paul to get better? And Otis is like, I feel like we need to go on, and there's a rift with that. Of course, Tiff is not on Otis's side. Go ahead with your spiel.
I wasn't saying it, but now here's the thing. Okay. I understand. Yes, one monkey don't stop no show.
Thank you.
Right? However, he was hospitalized, and the option to wait was nowhere even on his mind. I thought that it was a selfish thing. It was just like, no, no, we still gotta go, leave him here, and that's the end of that. But I will say, yes, Paul was really struggling. He was having a problem. But here's my thing. They were not just a group. They were, again, I know the professional side of this, but now when you're dealing with things like alcoholism and drugs, support circles are needed, right?
No, I agree.
You need a support circle. Well, if I've been singing with these people for 10 years, wouldn't they be my support circle? I get it. So there was not a side of Otis outside of business. And at least not that was displayed. Not that we know.
Not that,
It was just like well, he drunk. We got to go to the next show.
Otis does come off very systematic. I will say that, where it seems like, and in the hospital, they have a scene, him and Corn, where, Corn is like, he said, I want to get it right. He said, everybody for the group, but when's the group going to be for everybody? Something like that.
And I felt that.
And listen, I'm not even knocking Corn for that, because it's true. It is, where does it get to be too much business and not enough personal?
Absolutely.
Too much personal, you know what I mean? And so that's true.
Where's the balance?
There is. And that is part of this, to where sometimes groups have to make decisions like, should we wait or should we go? And I'm sure that comes across. I mean, you've seen that with rock groups and people that struggle with substance abuse or anything, personal things. And because the thing about it is, the fans still want to see their group, and there's that pressure of and you kind of wonder why these groups with all this notoriety. Why do people even get to drinking? Why do people even get to drugs? Because there is a lot of pressure. There's a lot riding on. These people are the breadwinners for their families, and it's like, man, I need this money because I need to perform because I got kids, so there's a lot that goes that people don't see, and people even because Otis they talk about his personal life. He was not with his wife, and his son really resented him for a while. So there's a lot of things that go on.
He was too busy cheating with Florence Ballard from the Supreme. Okay, sorry.
Anyway. So we get to the point where now it's starting to be a mess, because now they got different guys in the group, and it really does just become the Temptations brand. Yes. Where it's not the original guys are coming in and out, and it to the point where David is like, okay, if y'all ain't gonna let me in the group, then maybe I should do another group, because at some point, Korn left.
So now at this point, we really out of the original 5, the only people we have now is Otis
and Blue.
Yeah. And because Paul did not recover, and
Paul never
recovered from drinking, Eddie eventually left the group because that was his voice. So now the only 2 people that are there are just Blue and Otis,
right.
And the rest are just some fake temps without David reffing. And so there was some other people that were added to the group that we don't even do.
Crazily, even Dennis left at some point, which was weird.
What did
Dennis
didn't leave.
Oh, Dennis got fired.
Dennis got kicked out.
Yeah, because of...
Dennis also had a drug problem.
See, here's the thing, y'all. Cocaine was bursting on the scene back then.
Yeah.
It was not... People didn't even really understand. They kind of thought it was recreational, but it was really messing with folk.
Yes.
And, you just cannot hit all them temp moves when you're riding high. But...
Which I feel like they really should have discussed in the movie. They should have talked about Dennis getting kicked out too.
Yeah, they didn't really hit on that.
Yeah, because when they're inducted into the Hall of Fame, it's the original 5 and Dennis.
And then Dennis. And here's the thing. This was happening to a lot of groups. It wasn't the Temptation story. This was a lot of groups getting tore up with drugs and all that stuff. Yeah. So Otis, ever persevering, is just doing his best, but he has personal tragedy, and it's just a lot of tragedy through this, but throughout they're still trying to sing. But now we got 2 Temptation groups because now Eddie, Korn is with David, and they're trying to do their thing and sing, and it's a mess, and they come back at one point, which now it gets to the point somebody's hating on Otis so much. They all come back at one point.
Yes.
And was it David that tells Otis? I think because Otis was like, I was hard on everybody. I didn't know it was. But yeah. He says, it was good that you was hard on us.
Allegedly. Okay, now keep in mind that...
How is that allegedly?
Because this story is only told from the perspective of Otis.
Not necessarily.
Who is the only
he's the
original living Temptation. So,
Didn't you go see Otis?
I did.
Perform?
I went to go see the Temptations.
Well...
And it was because we don't know. I don't even know the other people.
Well, I'm just saying.
Otis was there, and I literally, but I did, and I was disgruntled the entire time.
Yeah, all right.
I listened to the songs because it's the Temptations, for God's sake, right? It was my aunt's birthday. That's what she wanted to do. She went to go see the Temptations. If I'm not mistaken, they were at the Orleans, and we did. Hey, and I really had an attitude with Otis,
which is so ridiculous. Unbelievable. Anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all heard that audible sign off camera. So throughout, the basic thing is through the ups and downs, the Temptations, period. Because they did mean a lot to a lot of people back then. And so even if it wasn't the same guys, those songs did resonate. Again, we talking about My Girl. Come on now. Papa Was a Rolling Stone. These are just kind of classics.
Right.
The brand really tried to stay going, and then, like you said, there was a part where they get inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And it was a little awkward, but all right, whatever. Just come on, because we did create history. Until the end of the movie, Otis loses his mother. You know what I mean?
Well, wait, to go back just a little bit, because what you were getting ready to say was that at one point in time, there were 2 separate groups of Temptations that were actually touring.
Yes, there was.
And there was nothing that anybody could do.
Right,
because legally you couldn't do anything. Because David was original Temptation. Eddie was original Temptation. Yep. And they even clicked up with Dennis.
Yeah, they had Dennis.
And then they got 2 other guys, and then they were touring as the Temptations. And then we had Otis and Blue, and they had 3 other guys, and they were touring as Temptations. And literally, legally, no one could do anything about it. Yeah, so you could go and see one set of the Temptations one night, and then maybe 2 weeks later the other set. And when nobody coming to see Otis.
And
Sunday, I know which one they was going to go see.
I just want to say to the family of Otis Williams, I love you all. Anyway, so we get to the end, and unfortunately, I think Eddie passed away, heart trouble, and then Blue passed away, and they show the infamous scene in this movie. I don't know why they did that, but Blue is in a wheelchair. He rolls into the kitchen and never rolls out.
Yes.
And that's kind of how it ends. It's kind of sad, but their music does live on. We talking about it in 2020. So let's get to a couple of little things very quickly. Okay. What is your favorite song? What is your favorite song or performance in the movie?
Okay. This is so hard.
And it's a lot of singing.
We're
in this.
talking about the Temptations,
Yes.
right? So every song that they're singing in the movie is amazing.
Classic.
Okay, but my very favorite is, and let me just make sure I get the name of this right. So my very favorite is the very first time that they actually go perform for Berry Gordy when they're getting their deal. So the original 5 sing. Actually, I don't even know if David was there yet. So it was just 4.
No, it was just 4, right?
Yeah, it was just 4, and then the other guy, or whatever, before they put David.
Right.
Oh, Mother of Mine.
Mm-hmm.
And they sing this song, and I just love it. That was like one of my favorite parts of the movie, when they sing that song. But every single performance that they've done, I just loved it from beginning to the end.
It's greatness. Yeah. I have a very obscure one. It's in the movie, but I don't know why. It's not even with David Ruffin. It's with Dennis. I love Cloud 9. And I just, Cloud 9. And they doing the moves. And you can check it. There's a live version they do. I think it's on something. And it is just, I love it because you get, Dennis sings lead for a little bit. Paul sings lead for a little bit. Eddie has a little part. It's kind of a great mixture. I don't know why. I love Cloud 9. It's one of my favorites. And I love that performance there. So quick trivia, you know what's a shame is Melvin passed away 3 years before the movie came on. The movie came out in 98.
Really? Now that I did not know.
He passed away in 95.
Okay.
Which was really sad. He might have consulted a little bit,
Possibly. But we always agree with Otis anyways.
Did you know, you kind of see it, David Ruffin did still perform with the Temptations on multiple occasions. Coming in and back and forth and all of that.
Because they had the reunion.
When they had the reunion, he was still kind of popping, kind of Bobby Brownish. I want to say something on Bobby in a minute too, as well. David's brother almost became a member of the Temptations as well, for a little while, but he was not a good dancer, and so he could not make it. Because you had to move.
You had to be able to move.
You had to move.
Yes.
But then there was one other. Hold on a minute. I'm trying to find them in notes. Okay, also, that's what I was going to say. In this movie, though, and we've been saying the names of the Temptations, but the actors, some of these guys could really sing, and some of them actually did the parts as well. Like, let me just give them some props as well very quickly, because the guy that played Korn, or played Eddie Kendricks, his name is Teron Brooks. He's actually a very, very good singer as well. I don't know if Leon who played David Ruffin, is Leon...
I'm not really sure, but I wouldn't be shocked if he could sing. I don't know for certain.
I think he can sing.
He's always playing some movies where singing is involved, so I wouldn't be shocked.
Christian Payton played Paul Williams, who could sing. So there's a couple guys that actually could sing and actually did sing their parts in the movie as well. But this was a lot, because again, this wasn't just no hour and change movie. This was almost 3 hours, and they put in a lot for this. It was directed by a guy named Alan Arkush. I'm not sure. I'm looking up his IMDb right now to see if he's done anything else we know.
Do you have a favorite Temptation?
I just like the Temptations. I don't know if I have a favorite Temptation. I know you have a least favorite, which is totally ridiculous.
And I have a couple of favorites, but
go ahead. Who's your favorite?
Honestly, well, okay. So you probably think that David is my favorite, right? I love David, but he's not my favorite. So. My favorite is actually, I have 2, Paul and Eddie. I love them. Paul and Eddie? Yeah, Paul and Eddie were my favorites. I rock with the original 5.
The original 5 is nothing like it. It's just, like I said, we broke it down in the other episode. The dynamics of their voices, how it all went together.
Absolutely.
And it's I don't know. The original 5, I just kind of think of them as one group. It's hard to really pick out. I mean, David has an amazing voice. David Ruffin's voice is outstanding. You know what I mean? And I love the falsetto with Eddie. It's just...
And now they did have some good careers separately now. Yeah. David did have some hits, and Eddie actually had some hits.
Eddie Kendricks was,
he charted for a while. Yeah, he had a good solo career.
But it really speaks to just a time, and we talked about that in the first part of this episode of this show, when groups could come out and guys would sing, and it wasn't no auto-tune, wasn't,
No.
they didn't do videos really back then. What your video was is you would sing live on Soul Train, or you would sing on, the Ed Sullivan Show or whatever, and that was it, you know what I mean? And it was just a pure part of the music. And again, Smokey Robinson writing hit after hit after hit after hit for all these groups and things like that. And you see where, and we talked about it, where Otis made some business decisions, but they all came up together, and they were kids when they started out.
Yes.
So there was a bond. So it wasn't just get out, David. It was a painful thing, because it's your boy. You know what I mean? Y'all all, and the movie in and of itself, that's why it's so long, because they really try to hit the ups and downs. Like, God, I couldn't imagine. There's this part where, Blue gets a call that, Melvin's son has died. And
so
it just breaks your heart because, and Blue is on the phone. He says, I want to tell him. Let me tell him.
Yes.
Because, if he
They were that close.
They were that close.
They were that close.
And so all that they went through and all of that stuff in those highs and lows, it really is reflected. The film is very well done.
I will say this. Now, there was a part where Blue had actually gotten shot. He already know he had rheumatoid arthritis already, so he was having issues with his legs, right? So he is now trying to rap to this. Is that the proper word? He was trying to rap to this woman.
Well, see,
you
put yourself back in the 1960s. So
That's
go
what I'm
ahead.
trying
That's
to
what this
do.
movie's going. Go ahead.
Okay, so he was trying to rap to this
Nobody
woman,
says that no
right?
more young people go ahead.
Yeah. So, and while doing so, he leaves his car running.
Yeah.
So a guy comes out and he tries to steal his car.
Yeah.
And they get into a scuffle. The guy pulls out a gun. He shoots Blue. Right? So now Blue is in the hospital.
What did the guy say though? Do you remember that?
He recognized him. He said,
After-
hey. Like after he shot him, he's like, hey, don't I know you? Like that.
What kind of crazy is
Yeah,
that?
he's one of the Temptations, bro. So he shot him, kicked him out of the car.
Right.
So now there's a point to this. So now Blue's in the hospital.
Oh God.
And the first thing Blue says to Otis is, where are you guys going next? You guys tour without me. And Otis says to Blue, no, we're not going anywhere without you. He was willing to stop touring for Blue.
He was not. He was just being nice and saying that.
But he suggested it for him.
I mean, of course, because he knew Blue's gonna be like, no, y'all gonna see. Because let me tell you, what was whack. Because if Otis in that scene,
They
if they
have
would have
to
changed that
behind the
scene,
scene.
and if Otis would have came in and been like, hey, you know what, Blue, we just gonna do the show. I can't believe he gonna do his boy like that. You would just be looking to criticize anyway. What is this deep-seated Otis hate?
what it is I felt like, okay, so he may have been the lead of Otis in the distance, but he was not the lead of the Temptations. This group was formed. They were merged from these other people. So I didn't understand why everybody had to run things through Otis. It was a group decision and they should have made things as a group decision, and it wasn't. It was always ran through Otis. Given Otis was the one that was probably more responsible, he did keep everyone on track. My issue is the favoritism, right? There was favoritism there. He automatically extended that to Blue, but he didn't show anyone else that same grace.
Because as far as we know, Blue was the only one not addicted to... Here's what I feel here's what it's really about. I'm about to call you out.
Okay.
Because Otis was not as talented as the others.
Because I can't think of nothing that man did except...
And that's what... See, if Otis was a lead singer, you would have probably let Otis go. Because Otis wasn't a lead singer. That's all this is. Tiff is for the lead singers.
Whatever.
Okay? And I'm for the people that are responsible whether you a lead singer or not.
Okay.
Okay, and then I want to bring up something as well. Okay. There's a great scene where David, of course, this is during the reunion when he's supposed to be acting right. David is in some drug house.
God.
And they don't know what it is.
The coke is now, we've passed the coke.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're in the crack pandemic
crack.
now. Right? And that was
He
even
is
worse.
in a crack house.
Oh,
and
God.
he is trying to barter. He's out of money. He's trying to barter with this drug dealer. Like, man, let me get some more. He's like, man, no, you need to go on somewhere. And he's like, listen, I got 2 tickets right here to see the Temptations. I'm gonna be lead. He's like, you can be lead? He's like, I'm David Ruffin. He's like, okay. The guy looks at the tickets. He's like, yeah, bro. He's like, these tickets were for yesterday.
Yeah. He was like, I done missed another show.
He's like, man, David actually gives the guy his car for drugs.
Yeah.
But
a Lincoln.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A Lincoln.
Give me what you got.
What's that?
Give me some more.
Give me what you got. Didn't Twinkie in the Clark Sisters movie, didn't she give up the bike for like a Lincoln? Lincolns must have been bad back then, man.
Yeah.
But real quick, there is some stuff also, one more trivia part. David Ruffin's death comes really, it's kind of, they don't really show it.
No.
Because it really is a mystery in real life. They don't really know what happened.
No.
They say, according to the trivia, David Ruffin had just come off a successful tour with a briefcase holding $50,000. And when he died, the briefcase was not with him. And David Ruffin's people kind of found him and found him dead. But when he had just gotten off his tour, that $50,000, they don't know if he got robbed. They don't know what it was. Very mysterious. It was very tragic.
So it was not a drug overdose.
They don't know. They don't really know what it was, but they just know that money wasn't there.
That's for
when
sure.
he died. So to recap, then we're about to shut it down. There's a difference though, because my favorite performance in the movie was Cloud9, but my favorite overall song is probably Papa Was a Rolling Stone. That's probably my favorite Temptations song. It's hard, but I believe Papa Was a Rolling Stone. Do you have a different?
I'm gonna go with Papa Was a Rolling Stone too.
Yeah.
That was definitely one of my favorites. I love that song. But really quick before we get out of here, can we touch on Beauty's Only Skin Deep?
Oh, I forgot about that. Okay.
So they sing this song, right? I don't know if they wrote the Copa, but they sing this song, Beauty's Only Skin Deep. And if you listen to the lyrics of the song, they are talking about women that are not attractive. Yes. They are speaking of, you may not be fine, okay, and that's okay, but you have a great personality. And they are singing to women in the audience. And I could not believe that these ladies were melting because they were being sang to. And I'm like, ma'am, the man just said you was ugly.
Let me read some of these lyrics.
Okay.
So in love, sad as could be, because a pretty face got the best of me. Suddenly, you came into my life and gave it meaning and pure delight. Now good looks I've learned to do without. Fam! Wait, so I was in love with somebody fine, but I was sad, but then you came along with your homely self and your upturned shoes, and now I feel, but I said, how was this a hit?
It was, and they were like going nuts.
Like the way it was loving it in the movie. This was a huge hit.
He said it to me. I'm like, that is not okay. He just called you a 4.
And then now you speak your words warm and sincere, and lets me know your love is near. A pretty face you may not possess, but what I like about you is your tenderness.
Yay.
I mean, wow. Shots fired.
They didn't see it that way.
They did not. They just was having a good old time, and apparently the people didn't because it was a hit, but I didn't realize what we was talking about. I said, that's kind of not a great movie.
I'd have lied.
Shout out. I don't know if.
Can you imagine, like back in the day? I don't know if you ever. Sometimes like when you like somebody, you send them songs. Like what did they?
How many radio dedications did that? Yeah, that was.
If somebody sent me that song, I wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah, that's rough.
I'm blocking them.
Alexa,
block that number.
That is rough, and I want to say this though because we'll maybe get to it at some point.
Yes.
But I think the most successful lead singer of a group that had lead singer disease is Bobby Brown. We call it the Bobby Brown syndrome. Yeah. Because when Bobby went solo, he was the biggest thing.
Oh yes, for sure.
I mean, because you saw when David tried to do it, it was a mess. All that. A lot of these lead singers.
That Tenderoni is still my jam.
They don't really go well. Worked out right, yeah. Worked out for Timberlake, but they don't work out for everybody all the time.
Really don't.
So that is our recap. We really enjoyed. Let us know what you feel about the Temptations movie. Good luck.
Am I hating on Otis, y'all? Tell me. Go ahead and put it in the comments. Let me know if I'm hating on Otis or if you feel what I'm saying. Like,
I don't see how you couldn't be construed as lady.
Okay, well, they'll let me know.
Panel here is.
They have to fit behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how you weren't. Again, to the estate of Otis Williams, I love you. Send me some tickets. I don't know about somebody over here, but that is our show. Again, we got some more coming up. We got I got another guest we're gonna have that I'll be glad to talk with.
Yes.
We're gonna do another one of our Who Sang It Best shows. We're gonna get to the 5 heartbeats as well. We got a lot coming for you guys. Stay with us. We appreciate it. Tiff, any last things? Maybe an apology.
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
See, I mean, wow.
That you asked me if I had something to say. That's how I wanted to close out. Stay sharp.
Yeah, stay sharp, guys. We'll see you next time. All right.
This has been a production of the Mighty Sharp Network. Executive producer is Monty Mont. Watch the corners and always stay sharp.